I wanted to make a quick video about the Borgeson power steering conversion that we installed on our 65 Mustang with the 289. Now it will work with headers. However, the space is very limited, and we have the Scott Drake shorty headers, the stainless steel ones, on the 289 and the 65 Mustang. We were able to get the old box out and to get the Borgeson power steering assisted box in. It was a very tight fit. I almost thought about removing the valve cover, but I didn't have to. We do have the tall valve covers because of the roller rockers. What I was able to do was very carefully, like a puzzle, work it in. It had to be turned a certain way. I did not have to take the import bar. We have the import bar installed on it for the extra support in the back. It's a one-piece unit that replaces the two legs that come from the factory. We were able to get the box in without removing that import bar. However, it was a very tight fit, and what happened was when I got it on the frame, it was just so tight that the three bolts that hold the Borgeson unit to the frame, they just did not want to line up. They lacked about a 1/16 of an inch lining up because it was right up against the headers. And I did go in and bend a little dent in the headers. I wanted to be careful. I didn't want to make a hole in the headers. I did end up getting it in there, but I wanted to tell you this key way of how I got the bolts in. You couldn't go from the outside and put them in and get them to start without cross-threading. They just wouldn't do it. So being there maybe a 1/16 or even as much as 1/8 of an inch off, it was a very tight struggle to try to get the bolts to come in and into the unit. What I was able to do, however, these bolts were, I can't remember if they were 7/16 or if they were 1/2 inch bolts. I think it was a 11/16 head on the bolts. So they were probably the 7/16 bolts. It doesn't matter. All you got to do is go get, I take my original bolts, which I ended up using my original bolts because they were a higher grade, they were a harder bolt. I didn't like the soft bolts that they sent with it. But what I did do, I took one of the bolts and went and matched it up and got the same size bolt with same thread, only about an inch longer. I got three of those bolts. I ended up only having to use two of them, but I found three of them that were about an inch longer than the ones that came from the factory, or the ones that they send with the Borgeson unit. Now, what I did was I did get the softer bolts for this. I put them in the vise and I tapped threads. They only have about 1.5 inches of threads on them. I tapped threads all the way up to the head of the bolt, and I started the bolt from the opposite side. I started it in the box itself and ran it into the frame and continued to run the bolts all the way until they came out the other side, and I put a nut on them. So they're coming in from the other direction, inside, which is from the engine bay side. And as I had two of those installed and tightened up with nuts on the outside where the head of the bolts would normally come in from, I was able to start the third bolt because I had two of them already pulled together. Even with it touching those headers, I was able to, in essence, like a puller, pull it into the frame, and then it lined up that extra 1/16 of an inch or whatever it was, so that I could start the first bolt coming in from the outside like they're supposed to be. So after that, I tightened that one bolt down, and I removed one of the others that were all thread at that point, and I installed another bolt, and then I repeated for the third one. So that's the way I was able to do it. It almost seemed impossible other than that. But if you'll just go ahead and tap the threads all the way on a bolt about 1 inch longer, give you room to go through the box from the inside where the engine is, facing out, and have enough to come through from the outside of the frame to start a nut on it and pull the box up against the frame. If you'll do that, then you'll be able to get when you get two of them like that, you'll be able to get the first bolt started from the outside. And then you take the subsequent bolts out one at a time, put the stock bolt in, have your lock washers on them, tighten them up good and tight. Go ahead and torque them to what it calls for, because you sure don't want your steering box coming off. If you'll do that, that was helpful for me. I wanted to help someone else if I wasn't able to see that in a video. It took me a long time figuring out how I was going to do it, but that's how I pulled it off. Hey, I hope you have a blessed week and day and month and year. For those of you that watch my other videos, I'll probably be coming out with one. I've just been waiting for inspiration. Hope to see you soon. God bless y'all. Thanks for watching the videos. If you don't mind, hit the subscribe, like, and share. I'd sure it would help me. Thank you very much and have a blessed day.